Are you getting married in Florida and you are on the hunt for the perfect wedding planner for your wedding day? You are in luck because today I'm interviewing Kehrin of Jet Set Wed. Jet Set Wed is a luxury international destination wedding planning company. Kehrin is a highly sought after wedding planner based here in Florida, known for her exceptional styling and design skills. With a focus on delivering the ultimate wedding experience, Jet Set Wed has become the go to choice for couples who want their wedding day to be stress free and stunning. Kehrin has received accolades from her clients, including Aaron, who said she made the entire process stress free and the wedding day stunning. She knew all my vendors, which made communication easy. She knew how to solve any concerns and has impeccable taste while still tailoring the day to suit our style. Today, I am going to interview Kehrin so that you guys can get to know her. So Kehrin, what got you into wedding planning in the Florida market?
It's kind of a long story. Do you want the long story or the short story or like mid story?
Give me the short mid and then we'll jump
Okay.
in on stuff that piques interest.
Okay, sounds good. So I have always wanted to be a wedding planner since I can remember wanting to be something. So my family is spread all over the globe. We're very international. I actually just did my 23andMe and I'm just like, okay, so everything. But we have family on every single continent. So the only time we ever got together were weddings or funerals, and weddings were more fun. And that was back when you had kids at your wedding. So we just danced all the time, just me and all my cousins. The only time we saw each other were these amazing weddings, and we just danced all night. And I still dance at every wedding. So I just loved that feeling, and I loved family, and I loved love, and I just wanted to be at that kind of party always. So I just knew I wanted to do weddings. So I went to school for marketing and PR here locally. I'm born and raised in Fort Myers. So this is my home, and I just love it here. We've traveled so much, but I just keep coming back. So I went to school for marketing because I figured I would have to own my own company to be really successful, and I would have to market that company. And there really wasn't an education to teach me how to be a planner. So I thought I would learn how to be a marketer. And then I did like event PR work. So, ribbon cuttings and launches and nonprofits, fundraising, things like that. And I kind of took a roundabout approach because I didn't find it really effective, or it didn't make sense to me to reach out to planners that were already successful and ask to, feed off of them. So I learned, I volunteered at other event kind of companies. So I did concerts for 2 years as an intern, doing large production concerts. And I did 2 years of nonprofit for American Heart Association. I did 2 years of sports marketing and, selling boxes and events like that. And then I got a job doing corporate events all over the country. So that's really where I got my travel bug. I mean, I traveled since I was a child just visiting family, but that's where I got the hustle and bustle kind of travel. So we did 3 events a month, 3 weeks a month. So we had 1 week off, and then 3 weeks we were at a different city each week. And I did that for 2 years straight, and I just loved it. And we went all over the country and Canada and Hawaii, Mexico, and Europe, not as much, but that's where I kind of got my bug for travel. So then I stopped working for that company because I realized this is a Fortune 500 company. It was a huge, massive company, but it was all made up of people just like me. Even the people at the very, very top, they still were kind of winging it. So it gave me that courage to say, well, if they're, this informed, then I can start my own company. So then I started with a business partner, and I thought that she was really progressed in the field, but come to find out she really just had an amazing office and just had a lot of capital to start with. So I just kind of ran over her, really, because I was just like really hungry. So it just wasn't fair to really stay in that partnership. So I branded Jet Set Wed on my own in 2012, I think.
What was it like for you starting Jet Set Wed? Like, what was your vision? What were you trying? What were your goals? What kind of clients did you want to work with? You're in Florida. Did you want to travel? Because you said you had a travel bug.
It's nothing like it was in the beginning at all.
Yeah.
I really wanted to be super creative and really push design and really design for the client, not really for what I liked or my aesthetic. And I think that's normal. When you're starting out, you just have to find yourself. So I did a lot of things that were not stuff that were my aesthetic at all. I mean, just mixing patterns and textures and really just pushing the envelope of what could be done. And then I just ended up really scaling back to a place where it was more of a minimalist. So I think I started with maximalist, and then found my place in a minimalist.
So define that for me. What's that mean for you as a wedding planner to say I found my place kind of in a minimalist design and aesthetic?
Yeah, I think it fits in with Florida. People come here for the environment. So already that's here, and I just need to complement it. And I think there really is, you really easily can have too much, and then it distracts you from the real beauty. And I think that I kind of discovered that over time. So really just clean lines, giving a lot of breathing room in the design. I think that's really important. And having a design where people feel really comfortable in that space. And, with more of a maximalist approach, you kind of have to force them into that comfortability. But I don't really love that approach. I really like to just complement the spaces and highlight the couple really effortlessly, so that as soon as the guests enter spaces that I've designed, they feel calm, they feel comfortable, and they feel not distracted either, so that they can really see the centerpiece, which is the couple and their love and whatever they want to display in that event.
And why do you think you're drawn to that? Why do it that way versus the Maximus? You just said some things, but...
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a place for Maximus for sure. And I think if you are a really loud personality and that's what's expected, then that's what guests are going to expect too. So I think that there's going to be a comfort in coming to that. I mean, if you are, if you have a client that is really bold and really exciting, and then you come to something that is really, subdued and calming, that can be off-putting. That can be just as, altering as, the opposite of that. So I think there's a place for it, but I came to it. I think it has a lot to do with maybe my love of Florida, my love of just organic and being grounded, maybe how I really attach feelings and emotions with nature, and just how I think that they really coincide. And also just, I have suffered from ADHD my whole life. So I think that has really a lot to do with it too. Just being able to clear distraction and really focus on what's the focal point, which is the couple and whatever story they're trying to tell in their day. My husband jokes about, like, if there's anything in the house that is red is like my color arch nemesis. If there's anything else red, it has to get out of here because it's all I see. He can't even come in and have a conversation with me if he's wearing something that's like off-putting or doesn't fit in the space. It's because it's all I see. So it takes the attention away from whatever he's trying to convey, and I just see that thing. And so I try not to do that in designs. I try to really make everything blend and complement the story that's being told. It's
so interesting. As you're saying that, I'm just thinking about my own personal home life, and I struggle with ADHD and how I love a really simple environment. That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, it really is.
Maybe give me an example. Can you describe a wedding that you did where the couple kind of came to you and this is kind of how they were, and you said, great, let's do something like this for you. I think this will work well.
Usually the couples come to me with Pinterest and, all of the things that are not who they are. So, I mean, it tells me that they like, an al fresco design. They love, really loose florals. They like lots of, garden attributes, and they like, maybe a certain color palette. But it doesn't tell me who they are. So I really like I ask very particular questions, and I like to have a particular group of images that really tell me who they are as a couple. So I'll absolutely take all the Pinterest weddings and all of those things. You can really take things away from those images. But what I'd rather see, and what I normally end up designing an entire wedding around, is items or images of things that they've curated over time. That kind of shows me trajectory of their aesthetic and who they are and who they're becoming and the direction of who they're becoming. Because I'd never really want to design for who they are today. I want to design for who they're going to be later, because that's how you keep timeless and lasting images and ensure that they love their wedding forever. Fads are going to come and go, and of course you can put those into the aesthetic if it really does resonate with the couple, but I like to do it in a way that is, at the entrance or the exit or once the party starts going. But I really ask for things that are like, show me photos of your dream home interior, your kitchen. I love to see a kitchen. If you find a kitchen, if my clients find a kitchen that just really like resonates with them and makes them really excited, that's going to be like the best jumping off point for me. Or just lounges that they really love to hang out in. I love to see how they curated their wardrobe. I love them to just open the closet and just take a photo. It shows me textures and colors, and it just tells me everything about who they are and who they've become. And usually whatever's hanging is the things that they hope to wear that they don't wear as often. So that's kind of already almost like what they aspire to is what's hanging. So I just love to see things like that, things that they've curated over time, because it really tells a story already.
If somebody were to hire you, wanted to work with you, can you describe what kind of services you offer?
So I've really simplified things over, the career that we've had. I haven't let go of event management. So that's also known as day of, month of. We call it event management, which is a service that we offer for every one of our clients that hire us, but you do have the option of just having us do that. And that is the lowest service you can get, and it's running the wedding day. So when we do that, we like to have a discovery call, is what I call it. So for the first hour, right after they book me, depending on where they are in their process, if they already have booked all their wedding day vendors, then I recommend that they do that discovery call when it's time for them to start developing their design, because I can really give them a lot of education in 1 hour about their design. And then that's just more exciting for me, because I know I'm going to show up at a beautiful wedding. Or if they haven't booked all their day of vendors yet, then I like to do a spending plan for them. So getting an idea of what their overall budget is, and then just hearing them talk about what their dream wedding would be while I kind of allocate price points to each area. So that way, moving forward, they kind of know where the restrictions are for each vendor that they need to book. And then I also will suggest all the vendors that I think might be a really great personality fit, budget fit, and style. So that's really a really valuable hour, and if you use it properly, and then implement after that. So then we do a really detailed timeline, a layout, and call all your vendors, make sure you didn't forget anything in your planning of the wedding day, and then run the wedding day. But mainly we put out fires, and that is kind of, it could be read badly, but that's my favorite part. I love putting out fires. I love solving huge problems. I don't want to say like I love when things go bad, but I just love that I'm there to create solutions and to calm everybody down and to rally the troops. And that's all just stuff that I really love, experiences that I really love when they happen at a wedding, because they always end up being the highlight of the wedding if they're dealt with properly. So I love that. So that's our lowest service.
Okay, give me a story of a fire you put out. Like one that comes to mind. Cover up the names if you need to.
Well, it's always the fire that we put out, like the literal fire that we put out. that comes to mind just because of the,
You
I
put
guess,
a
the
fire
freezing.
out? We're
Yeah,
talking about
so
a real fire at this moment?
right before the couple were about to go down the aisle, and we shut down the street for this particular ceremony, and they were getting married in this old library with these huge columns, a beautiful scene. And I'm across the street, and I'm lining up the couple, and I just see my associate. I see flames in the aisle. And I just see my associate, my right hand. He's amazing. I just see him stride up, and he's like 8 feet tall. I see him just stride up the aisle, grab this floral arrangement, grab another one, grab a vase from the aisle, splash it on, and walk out. And then we just
As the bride's
continued the
heading
ceremony.
towards the aisle?
Yeah, but she didn't see it. And she, right after the ceremony, she said, I think my dad, and he's on in my earpiece, like telling me what's happening. And I'm like, okay, sounds good, And then after the ceremony, she was like, oh, my dad said that something was on fire. I think he was trying to like make me laugh. And I go, no, something was on fire. And she's like, what? So it was the days where dried flowers and candles like mixed all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the floral arrangements in the aisle just went up in flames, like poof, big.
Wow.
So that's a fun one. But my personal favorite is when we were on an island, and the distro box of the whole island got struck by lightning. So the whole island went black. And so all of the guests, we instructed all of the guests to grab all the candles off their table. Nighttime. It was night.
Nighttime, okay. Great.
And they had just, thankfully, they were in mid dinner service. So half the entrees were out, half weren't. So we just instructed all of the guests to crisscross applesauce on the dance floor. When I found out it was not going to come on that night,
So you lost power indefinitely.
That was it. Yeah.
Okay.
So we just invited all the guests to crisscross applesauce and grab their candle from their table. We lined the whole front of the stage with candles, and everyone sat with their meal in their lap and ate while the whole band, we had a 12-piece band. They just played acoustic all night, and it was the most, I had goosebumps. It was just beautiful.
Were the stars out?
It was, yeah. Oh, yeah. And there was no light pollution. It was incredible. And just the feeling and the I have a million stories of things going wrong, but that's why I love it, because it always is the coolest part of the wedding. Otherwise, there's nothing to talk about. It was beautiful. Yeah.
It's funny when I look back at my own life, I think of times where in the moment stuff goes really wrong, and then it has a good ending, and then those are the memories that then you go share.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the moment, there's like a struggle. Yeah, there's a struggle, but then it's funny, you look back, you kind of, make it seem, I don't know, I don't want to say better than it is, but it's like, gosh, why do I always share the story where the struggle happens?
Yeah, because it is better, because it brings people together. It holds a place in your memory, and you felt something, and you went through emotions, so it really does hold a place in your memory. So I do love things like that for that reason.
So the first service is event management. What is the next service that a couple could use if they want to work with you?
Yeah, so our most popular would be design. We're really sought after for that service. Mm-hmm. So generally, I think I've done design only for other planners and maybe 2 clients before. But generally, they pair design with event management. So some can consider that a partial service, but we really do just focus on the design. So your paper goods, your floral arrangements, your table settings, your linens, your layouts, your rentals, wardrobe, anything to do with the look of the wedding and the aesthetic. Mm-hmm. So, down to, your cake, I'm going to design it, have the table and the layout, but you're going to go to the tasting, choose your flavors, those things. So design and event management would be our most popular. And for the design, we kind of touched on it on the other video, but I really like to dive into who the couple are, what they like to do, what their dream, home looks like, what their wardrobe looks like, And I really pull from things that are curated to create that design for them. And we deliver it in a 20-page PDF where I take images of the wedding and I superimpose the design on top of those images, and then present that on video calls. And I have to say, I hardly ever have changes to the design itself. So I really dive in the beginning to really get to know them and ask for a lot of inspiration before we move into that design. And so the hardest part, I always tell my clients, of working with me for that design piece is you feel like nothing is happening and your wedding is not moving forward at all. And then all of a sudden, 2 days goes by and your wedding is delivered to you and it's completed and it's done. And we've already, when we create that design, we've already vetted all the vendors. We already have the quotes ready. We know that it fits in your budget. So all you have to do is say yes and place deposits, and then your wedding is completed. So it's kind of like an overnight thing. So it's a hurry up and wait. And then once it's presented, there's really nothing left to do after that either until the timeline or event management kind of process starts with the timeline and finalizing those details. Yeah. And then our next one would be full service, of course. And so full service would be, if I always recommend that if you have a venue, then you would have our standard full service offering. And of course, that includes design and includes event management, but that's kind of managing your budget, managing your band, DJ, all the entertainment, any additional creatives that you have there, your venue, going through your tasting, going through all your contracts, hair and makeup, photo, video. So all of those vendors that are going to be there on your wedding day working together, it includes creating that team as well. And any build outs and production, like several day productions to build the space if that's needed, is all included in that full service as well. What we don't include in full service are room blocks. So here in Florida, that is, the tough part, because we are, such a tourist state. So you're really competing with conferences and, all these retreats. And so room blocks are really vital and important. And we have tried to manage them in the past, but the professionals that are in charge of room blocks are just not accustomed to reaching out to us for those blocks. So we were kind of charging for, and we weren't able to do the job. So it really was better and faster. Time is of the essence. So having a middle person just delayed availabilities of rooms. So we really found that it was kind of a detriment to our clients to have us involved with that room block, because it just slowed the process. So we no longer do that, but we do support them, answer all the questions, tell them who to reach out to, give them suggestions on where they should go, and do all of that, but just not that direct contact and negotiations and things like that.
So that was really helpful. So if you're listening to this, you have multiple ways that you can work with Kehrin. And if you want to know more about Kehrin, you can check the descriptions down below as well. Her and I have done some other videos. We kind of hinted at, we did one more on design where we speak specifically about that. We also speak about vendors and putting together a team that works well. And then we also talk about why it's a good idea to consider getting married in Florida. So with that being said, thank you so much, Kehrin.
Thank you.
And we'll see you all in the next video.